Celebration Chicago, how you doing?
Hey, bitches! Oh!
More better in us better than that. Come on, Celebration, how you doing?
Yay! Yeah!
Are you excited for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah! Yeah!
Well,
Excited!
We don't know a lot about this game yet, but that all changes right here at Celebration today.
No, może on nie musi być taki duży,
We've
co?
got the team from Respawn Entertainment here. The very, very talented developers of Jedi Fallen Order. We also have some
Czemu tak jest cicho? Ja siebie ściszę, także uważajcie.
as well this hour. And they're all here to spill the very first details
Pogłośnijcie
about
sobie.
a game that I can safely say
Ej,
that
przestańcie,
everyone in
no.
this room is most excited about this year.
Wszystko można powiedzieć o tym facecie, ale duży ekran nie poprawia jego urody, okej? Ja to wiem coś o tym, więc proszę, jak chcecie coś dużego, to
Are you ready?
nie wiem, czy mogę wam pomóc.
Let's bring out the team from Respawn Entertainment out here to the stage.
No, Respawn przychodzi, będą jakieś zdjęcia, to damy duży, okej? Chcę, żebyście byli widoczni na czacie. Jest, to są fajni goście, kurde, to są goście, ja pierniczę. Nie ma tam pieprzenia. Robią dobre gierki i tyle. Dobra, co ja chciałem? Aha, żeby pogłośnić, ściszyć, żebyście... No, musicie sobie pogłośnić, mam nadzieję, żeście to zrobili.
Hi everyone, welcome to Star Wars Celebration. And hello to the many, many fans that are watching at home as well. I know you're excited. Why don't we go ahead and start with a round of introductions so everyone can get to know you. Why don't we start with you, Vince?
I'm Vince Zampella. I'm the head of Respawn Entertainment.
Jej! Super gościu.
I'm Stig Asmussen. I'm game director on Jedi Fallen Order, and I just want to say I'm so proud to be up here on the stage for my whole...
A potem się pytają, o czemu IPEX za wolno się rozwija? No bo robią Star Wars, bitches. Kuba, ty mi nie mów, co oni zrobili. Ja to wiedziałem, co oni zrobili, jak twój tata dopiero mutację przechodził.
Hi, I'm Kasumi Shishiro. I'm a producer at Respawn.
O, dzień dobry, Kasumi. O, kurde, seksizm. Seksizm był od razu. Na dzień dobry, Kasumi.
Hey, Steve!
And the biggest title of the day.
It's the longest
A nie mogę, zobaczę ładną kobietę, to muszę powiedzieć, o, ja cię kręcę.
Why don't we go ahead and start with you? Why don't you tell us a little bit
I to niestety jestem skazany, no prędzej czy później zostanie mi to wytknięte.
Star Wars to your already impressive game resume.
So a small question we'll start with there.
Okay.
I've had the honor of like working on creating some of the biggest IPs in gaming, right? Like with Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Titanfall, Apex Legends. Maybe played. So to be able to add Star Wars, one of the biggest IPs in the world across any medium, is just, a childhood fantasy for me, right? Like I grew up...
Ja nie wiem, kiedy oni robili tego Star Warsa. Kiedy go robili?
So, when Stig and I started working together, it was one of the things we talked about, like, we want to do this game, and to finally realize
First
it.
thing we talked about.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's wonderful. So, and a story game. This is a Jedi fantasy story.
Jej! Sito Electronics, story game. Si moją historię. Bo oni mówią, wiecie, że nie ma historii, że się nie opłaca.
No multiplayer, no microtransactions. It's about being a Jedi.
Wow, prawdziwi Jedi są na tym, wśród widowni. Widzieliście te miecze?
Again, Stig, I've known for a long time. I tried to get him to work with me. God of War 3, one of my favorite games of all time. He finally said yes, and I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and just to go off script here a little bit, one of the reasons I'm hosting this panel
Ekscytacja przetykana cringe'em delikatnym, no ale to nigdy nie jest łatwe.
I can tell you, with very direct first-hand experience.
Też macie takie wrażenie, że obraz drży? What the fuck?
A team with several members that were already at Respawn on the Titanfall team.
Nie potrafią na tych eventach zrobić głośności porządnie.
And that's something you don't really get to do very much in this industry, especially on AAA. And since we were in the studio and Titanfall was such a big success, we had the ability to kind of go slow and steady, and that's something that we never get to do in games. So along the way, we picked up great veterans in the industry, people that worked on games like Uncharted, of course, God of War, Batman, BioShock, Metal Gear, and of course, Titanfall and Call of Duty. To say we're a mashup crew is an understatement, but everybody has a really high pedigree. And when I come into work every day and I feel the vibe and I feel the energy in the studio and I actually get my hands on the controller and I see that we're making something that's really, really fun, it makes me feel great. It makes me know that we're on the right track, and I can tell you I'm super confident that we're onto something.
That's great. And you mentioned, of course, that it is a story-driven game. I want to take it over to Steve from Story Group at Lucasfilm. Tell us about the process of breaking a new story like this for a story game.
Sure. I mean, the process in general of...
Kurde, w ogóle typów nie słyszę. Sąsiad się z żoną kłóci 3 domy stąd i go słyszę wyraźniej niż tego typa tutaj na tym streamie. Kuźwa mać, co za abnegaci robią te streamy, to się w pale nie mieści. Podkręć trochę głośność, buraku jeden, albo zmień pracę. Przepraszam, nie osłownie, ale na miłość boską.
It's a labor of love, like I said, and we can't wait for people to learn more about what this is. And, everybody pitches in here. We all kind of get together and get to this point of making something incredible. And it all starts, when Stig and team first came to our offices in San Francisco. They pitched us right away on wanting to tell a Jedi story. They wanted to put a lightsaber in the player's hand, give them force powers and give them that opportunity. And we were...
Niech to będzie jakości Titanfall 2 i jestem kupiony.
That premise.
You make it sound so easy.
Już nie mogę pogłosić przeglądarki poza 100%, nie?
That premise, that simple idea is a place to start, but that process then of finding the specific story and the individual narrative for this game, that takes a lot longer, and that takes a lot more collaboration, a lot more rounds of iteration.
Zgłosić na policję przemoc domową sąsiadów. Normandia, ja zaraz zgłoszę na policję, że ty suba nie masz.
In the process of working on a licensed IP, external partner like Lucasfilm can often push a team towards getting stuck in documentation.
Ten się jeszcze drze obok.
Yeah, we had to use different approach when
tego Fortnite'a grają.
things in the Star Wars universe and new contents. We are introducing a lot of new planets and new characters. So nailing down existing locations, for example, was something really important for both teams. So we did that by going back and forth on style guides or concept art, and even up to today, we do level playthroughs together over and over just to nail this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's...
No, mam kopa po tej kawie, ale to mocno mi przypomina takie pierwsze lokacje w Titanfallu.
Centered and focused on executing a specific story. It's a lot of hard work, but everybody is driving towards the same goal, which is making a badass, kick-ass Jedi Star Wars game for people to love.
Sounds really good when you say it out loud.
That's the hope.
Muszę sobie wyciszać mikrofon, bo słyszę całą okolicę wyraźniej niż tą konferencję.
The anticipation's killing me over here. So I mean, here's what we know about the game so far. We know that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order takes place after Order 66, right? Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. And you're a Padawan who survives those events. And that's really all that we know. What else can you tell us about the story or the gameplay, anything today?
Well, high level.
Zawsze uważałem, że rozkaz 66 powinien się nazywać rozkaz 69, bo ich nieźle wyruchali. Taki żarcik.
Now, we know the Star Wars audience is huge. We want to be able to please all Star Wars gamers, so we made sure that the combat is something that's easy to pick up, but also if you put the time in, you can master it. It has a lot of depth. So for us, it's important that we strike that right balance. This is Star Wars, but what I will say is combat is key for us. Internally, we call the combat...
Niech to szlak. Muszę zrobić rokobraża, bo pęknę, kurde, w końcu.
Identify and exploit their weaknesses with all the powers that you have. But, I could keep on talking about it, but we actually have a trailer today that we can show.
Wiem, że ten żart jest niesmaczny. Wiem, głupio mi teraz, ale co zrobię? No. Coś we mnie pękło.
Wow, that's already. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. I want to see a trailer.
Wait a minute, can I qualify?
Yeah, please set it up for us.
First of all,
dajcie głośniej, kuźwa.
Everybody at Respawn and EAV for all the hard work that was put into this. We're super proud to be showing this to the world. One thing that's important that everybody knows is this is Celebration, and I think people want to know a lot about the story. So we decided to focus on a story-based trailer. So this is not raw gameplay, but it is all gameplay assets that you will find in the game, and it is all rendered in engine. Last but not least, we will be introducing a new hero to the galaxy, and he will be introduced in this trailer, and his name is Cal.
You want to see it?
Kal.
Here is the
Nowy
world
bohater
premiere
w
of Star
uniwersum.
Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Let's take a look.
Kanonicznie będzie. On się nazywa Cal. Call me Johnny. Call me Johnny.
Wasn't always like this. But now, there are 3 rules to survive. Don't stand out. Accept the past. Trust no one. The galaxy's changed. Whatever you do, don't reach within. Don't stand out. Accept the past.
Execute Order 66.
Trust no one. Trust only in the Force.
O, nareszcie. I on będzie długo na tą szablę polował pewnie. Oh my god.
I have so many questions. Why, between this and episode 9, why is 2019 so amazing? That was incredible. There's
Yeah,
so
I have
much.
to say, I've seen that trailer multiple times before today, but watching it up there in front of everyone, it's
I to
emotional.
jest na silniku gry zrobione. To nie jest taki
Wow,
cinematic
really
klasyczny.
incredible. So let's just dive right in. Help us out with the story here. Tell us about the story, Aaron. Why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I am so ready to talk about the story. So, as many of you here today probably know, for 1,000 generations, the Jedi were guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic before the Dark Times, before the Empire. And our story is set during those dark times. The Empire is at the height of its power. The Jedi are reviled as traitors. Inquisitors roam the galaxy, hunting for any surviving Jedi or any other Force sensitives. You're going to play as Cal Kestis, as Stig said, a young Force user who's hiding in plain sight as the game opens. Cal becomes a target of the Imperial Inquisition and must master the ways of the Force if he wants to survive.
Wow, that sounds great. Tell us more about Cal. Now, what's it been like to develop?
Czyli jest inkwizycja, która szuka tych Jedi, którzy przetrwali, którzy przetrwali i tych, którzy są Force sensitive.
One of our writing team, Matt Miknowitz.
Matt Miknowitz. Oh, he's Matt Miknowitz, a writer from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, that's him. Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah. The Emmy Award-winning Clone Wars series, which he never lets me forget that they got an Emmy.
Right.
So Matt's a part of a writing team, which is like a really smart, talented group of people who make my life very interesting all the time. Anyway, so as you saw in the trailer, Cal's living in hiding. It's on a planet
Ja
called
się jaram, a nie... Co ty pier...
He's part of the
Kiedy ja przeszedłem całą grę, ostatnio przeszedłem kilka całych gier, buraczany, wywłokuch.
It's really hard, dangerous.
Spidermana przeszedłem, Assassina przeszedłem, God of War'a przeszedłem. Co za
Pulling himself back from getting involved in the world.
hejter kuźwa w internecie mnie tu będzie molestował.
For fear that it will endanger them. But eventually, Cal does get involved, and it puts the Inquisition on his trail. He'll have to face the trauma of his past and learn to trust in new allies and the Force. If the Order is to ever rise again, Cal must persist through failure and adapt to a new understanding of what it means to be a Jedi, a guardian of peace and justice, after the bad guys have won and all hope has been lost.
I want to play this game right now. That was amazing. And I have to say, you know, looking at that trailer and looking at that face, I ran into someone backstage who looks and sounds a lot like Cal and might know a thing or two about this character as well, because I'm pretty sure it's the actor that plays Cal. You want to meet him?
Ktoś napisał na czacie, czy to będzie turówka. Ja myślę, że to nie będzie RPG. Myślę, że to będzie po prostu opowieść taka jak Uncharted, jak Titanfall 2.
But soon you'll know him as Jedi Cal Kestis. Please welcome Cameron Monaghan to the stage. Cameron.
Jeżeli to w listopadzie ma wyjść, to już muszą mieć jakieś gameplaye.
What's up? Hey, what's going on, Steve? Hi, Chicago. This is amazing. This is straight up one of my favorite cities in the world. This place has a lot of personal significance for me, so I can't believe I get to show the trailer here of all places. This is amazing. Give it up for Chicago.
Yeah.
Just the city itself. Thank you. Give it up for yourself.
Chicago, Star Wars, and Respawn. I think we're all on cloud nine here. This is great.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be the next Jedi?
Oh, it's no
Tak on
big
grał
deal.
Jokera
It's
w
only
Gotham.
every kid's freaking dream ever to be a Jedi. It's incredible. If I told my 10-year-old self who had the VHS box set of the original trilogy, and he watched like certain scenes over and over to the point that they were like fuzzy and worn out, the Darth Vader Return of the Jedi scenes, of course. If I told that kid that he was going to get to swing a lightsaber one day, I think that his brain just would have exploded and leaked out of his ears. It's still kind of leaking out of my ears a little bit right now, I'll be honest. It's really surreal. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, Stig, what was it about Cameron that drew you to his performance or his audition for the role of Cal?
Actually, that would be Aaron. We were doing our first few rounds of casting, and we ended up. I ended up missing one of the casting audition sessions, and it turns out that was the one that Cam was in. And I was instructed.
A ci ludzie, oni nie są sztucznie zadowoleni z tego, co pokazują. Oni są bardzo zadowoleni, tylko ciężko jest przekazać ten entuzjazm w sposób taki realny, jak ludzie cię obserwują, jesteś na scenie. To nie jest takie proste. To nie są ludzie, którzy są stworzeni do tego, żeby paradować przed tłumami i mówić, jakie rzeczy są fajne, które robią. Nie? To są ludzie, którzy tworzą gry. To jest inny typ w ogóle osobowości.
And he combed through the other folder and brought Cam to my attention. I'm like, this is the guy that we've been talking about. This is the guy that we've been writing about for, the last several years, really. And he brings this quality. We always talked about we wanted somebody with the kind of this young Clint Eastwood quality.
Nie przechodzę gier, które uważam za słabe.
That's why you're perfect Cal.
Jak uważam, że gra jest dobra, to ją przechodzę.
That's really, really amazing. Aaron, Stig, you are now in the review first folder in my heart forever. Thank you.
That's great. No, I mean, awesome. Cam, as Stig was saying, just embodies what we always envisioned in Cal, is this Jedi who has this sort of quiet optimism, who can exist through the dark times and take back on the mantle of being a hero, and he's got this power to him, and just watching him in the PCAP sessions step into and really create and bring to life the character of Cal has been incredible.
And Cameron, what is it about Cal Kestis that drew you to that part? But tell us a little bit about that character.
Well, he immediately jumped off the page. He felt really distinct with what you guys had already built and
No to jest
created,
oczywiście, że fajnie byłoby zobaczyć gameplay, zważywszy na to, że premiera jest bardzo blisko, ale ja wiem, Pewnie mają swoje powody. Pamiętajcie, że przed E3 będzie impreza Electronic Arts w Los Angeles. Znaczy, tak, w Los Angeles. Pewnie tam zobaczymy coś więcej. Pewnie chcą też zostawić gameplay chociaż mogliby pokazać 2 w sumie. A nie będę, no to jest Respawn. Na nich się jeszcze nie mieliśmy okazji zawieść, więc mimo, że jest to Electronic Arts, to jestem przy nadziei. Ja patrzę, konferencję mam tuż przy czacie, na tym monitorze, na który teraz patrzę, więc to nie jest tak, że wygodniej mi patrzeć tutaj. Widzę i czata, i konferencję jednocześnie. Poza tym to ledwo słyszę, będę musiał to sobie jeszcze raz odpalić i na maksa pogłośnić coś, bo kuźwa, tragedia jest.
So I want to give a shout out to some of our teammates, art team back at Respawn, Jordan Lamarwan, Chris Sutton, Hanno Hagedorn, and Lars Martinson. These guys were the core members that brought Cal to life. They spent hundreds of iterations from concept phase.
Że co, sielanka? No co byś chciał, żeby na pokazie gry mówili, fajną grę chcieliśmy zrobić, ale tak trochę wyszło słabo, ale mam nadzieję, że wam się spodoba, nie? Czy to byłby dobry pokaz taki?
So this is your first video game, is that right?
Yep.
Now you walk into a video game and it's not just voiceover, you're also doing, of course, likeness capture, motion capture. Oh, here, got some footage of you actually, some behind the scenes footage.
Powinni więcej takich rzeczy dać.
Was it more?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I kind of came in with the perception of motion capture, which I think a lot of people do when you tell them performance capture of like, oh, you're just gonna do a voiceover and then show up and walk around in the suit with some balls on it or whatever, and that's yeah. And then,
Ciemniejsza strona zawsze jest silniejsza, bo nie ograniczają jej żadne zasady.
And you're able to really pick up very subtle changes in emotion and movement and body and create a performance that's really nuanced and detailed, you know, if the performance is there. So being able to explore and only really be limited by imagination when you're in a digital space meant that we were kind of these kids playing in our big sandbox, and we got to do something that I think that we're all really proud of.
I see too, and I watched this action footage here of you wielding a lightsaber. That's so cool. But it reminds me, Vince, of something you said. Just the sort of fluidity of your motion here reminds me of your gameplay comment about the importance of feel in Respawn games. After all, that's what we're doing. We're playing. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the pillars of what we do at Respawn, right? It's the game has to feel good. We're making interactive entertainment, so the feel, the touch, the way things interact in the game is just so important. And you know, like Stig and I are synced up on that, and you know, if you've played his games, you know that. So it was just a natural fit to bring that feel from the first person into the third person now, where it's even more important because that thoughtful combat, that melee, that has to connect and feel right and look good, and it's just something that was really important.
I mean, I'm a huge gamer and a huge fan of what Respawn have done, and Stig, you know, as well. And I obviously wasn't involved in the creation of the gameplay at all, so I was coming very objectively, and I really wanted to see satisfying, weighty, visceral combat that had impact, and I gotta say...
Czy to, proszę Państwa, jest pierwszy rudy Jedi? Tak przyszło do głowy nagle, ni stąd, ni zowąd.
Seriously, no. It kicks ass. It's
and
so
getting
cool.
to use force powers in there too,
Yeah.
along with the melee, and like that feel is all there.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like, I just...
Wydaje mi się, że to nie jest kwestia wyrównywania dźwięku w Windowsie, no ale nawet jeżeli jest, to teraz tego nie poprawię.
Satisfying, and it is really satisfying.
Yeah, we only get to work on it. He's a new freaking Jedi.
That's actually great to hear.
Mace Windu był też rudy, tylko że był na łyso, więc nie widać było, tak?
I still have all of these burning questions, and I know we don't want to give away too much about the story, but we've got to go back to some story moments and that trailer. You know I'm not the only fan of Star Wars Rebels in this room, right? But I just have to ask, there was a character, yeah, who's that? Who's that?
That's this level character. So that is the second sister Inquisitor. So A new Inquisitor that we have designed and developed and are introducing in this game. And for those with eagle eyes, we have actually teed up this character in an image of Darth Vader number
Dobrze,
19.
zróbmy sobie
If you go
tak.
back and take a
Przesuniemy
look,
sobie to
written by
tutaj.
Charles Soule, we have put her already out in the world, but it's from the design and from these guys as we were planting those seeds for what will ultimately pay off in this
Fantastimam.
game.
Gdzie to jest?
Awesome is that?
You know, just a member of the Inquisitorius out there hunting down Jedi after Order 66.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll be saying more about the second sister at a later date, but I will say that she's exceptionally intelligent, and if you watch the trailer, you'll see she's actually using the Force to control the flight.
O, widzisz, wyłączone mam. To nie jest to, po prostu Twitch ma po cichu.
Super clever.
Wszyscy mają cicho, ale dziękuję za próbę pomocy.
I have so many more questions. There were more characters in there. There was this amazing droid character. Yeah, right here.
Oh.
Who's this little droid right here? What can you tell us about this droid?
That little guy is BD1. And internally at Respawn, that stands for Buddy Droid 1. And that's exactly...
No wreszcie jakiś fajny, kurde, nie te puszki półokrągłe. To jest w ogóle design tego, ja bardzo lubię R2-D2, oczywiście, że tak. I zresztą, ale R2-D2 to są roboty, które były stworzone do tego, żeby służyć na myśliwcach, dlatego mają taki kształt, a nie do tego, żeby łazić po dżungli albo po pustyni. A to jest wreszcie jakiś robot, który ma kurde nogi.
And that's just one of many useful tools that BD has that you'll be able to find and upgrade over the course of the game. Now, the other really cool thing about him is his voice is totally legit. We seeked out the talents of Ben Burt, who's...
Oh!
I know.
Ben Burt, the original creator of the entire Star Wars soundscape.
Yeah.
R2-D2, Chewbacca, TIE fighters, lightsabers, Darth Vader. That Ben Burt?
Yeah, I think there was a couple people on the team.
A miałem włączyć, bo mam wyłączone. No dobrze, czekajcie. Myślałem, że mam wyłączyć.
Ben was totally up for the challenge, and you know, the vocalization of BD is, you know, it's whimsical, yet it's also endearing, and it totally screams Star Wars.
It does.
It maybe literally screams Star Wars. He literally screams Star Wars at times.
O, son of a bitch. Ja cię stary, niech ja cię uściskam.
There wasn't a single inspiration. BD1 is like the darling.
Oh my god, ale mi zrobiłeś dobrze.
Like background and diverse perspective to the character, and I think BD1's so good because of that. But in terms of execution, I want to give a shout out.
Kurde, możesz zupełnie spokojnie subować, stary. Nie zapomnę cię do końca życia.
Amazing job of bringing BD1.
Fantastian i Fenry.
Yeah, when we were creating BD1, we looked at droids like BB-8, R2-D2, even Chopper. We really put a lot of research into these droids.
Zastanawiam się z drugiej strony, co mi to popsuje przy okazji, no ale...
So we worked really closely with Doug Chang and Hez Chorba from Lucasfilm to create the visual design of this droid. And it was a really fun process. We started off with something that looks familiar to us, like everyday appliances.
Chyba jest tak, faktycznie jest trochę słabsza jakość, bo wydaje mi się, że Windows to boostuje, no ale...
You know, we had even a version that looked like a tiny ATST with a camcorder head. So we explored a lot of options, but this is where we ultimately landed, and we're really happy with the result.
There was another inspiration, though, too, wasn't there?
Yes, my dog, Mary the Boston Terrier. When I wrote the biography for BD1 was at the forefront of my mind, and just so you guys know, she's a very good dog.
And BD's a very good droid. You know, he's like Cal's closest companion throughout the story. It's a little bit of like a boy and his dog situation, and they become very close, and BD provides a lot of the light of the story. And not to understand.
Nie wiem, czy pamiętacie, w Titanfall 2 też był fajnie pokazany związek między tym pancerzem, robotem, a pilotem. Ja myślę, że to bardzo fajnie osobowości pokazuje. Taka relacja między robotem a człowiekiem.
I saw you with a lot of other talented actors as well. Can you tell us about some more of the cast that we saw in the trailer? You had a friend there that was helping you as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have. That's Seer, played by Deborah Wilson, who is a former Jedi Knight and kind of takes on the role of mentor to Cal in many ways. But it's not the traditional Padawan master sort of relationship. Instead, there's this group that kind of band together to form a sort of kind of a strange family. This weird little team that band together to explore the galaxy, and I think that's ultimately the real heart and core of the stories. A lot of them. So you've met a couple of the characters in the trailer briefly, but there's a bunch more that you haven't seen yet, who I think are also really incredible.
Which reminds me, I still have questions. I want to go back to the dark side because there were these incredible, I guess they were melee troopers here. Tell us about these troopers. They looked so good in that trailer.
Yeah, sure. So these are new troopers we are introducing called Purge Troopers. And creating new troopers in Star Wars is always a fun experiment, and finding the utility that you're looking for in the troopers. We've seen multiple variations over years of films and TV shows. We have Shore Troopers and Death Troopers and Snow Troopers and Flame Troopers and onwards, and we wanted to, develop something for this game.
Yeah, there's always a lot of rumors floating around in the galaxy of Jedi fightings, especially this time. And it's actually the Inquisitor's job to hunt them down, but like Steve was mentioning, there's so few of them, so they actually send these Purge Troopers to investigate. And when they do encounter a Jedi, they call the Inquisitors back in. But these troopers are also specially trained to fight Jedis, so when they do encounter one, they're really eager to fight them.
Yeah.
So even Jedis have leaks.
Yeah, no, but I mean these
Tak.
troopers in
Sex
particular,
Troopers to byłoby bardzo ciekawa
like a
ten.
great story of collaboration behind them, because as we were developing the story for this game,
Gratuluję inwencji,
this
Arkan.
need of, the support for the Inquisitors, we were also simultaneously with Charles Soule at Marvel developing his Darth Vader series, which would focus around the Inquisitors, and he came up with a very similar need. So we sort of approached those problems together. We sat down with the Respawn team, we talked to Marvel, and Respawn took the lead on designing these troopers, and then we shared that design once we finalized it. They actually brought it up earlier in the pipeline to complete it against Marvel's timelines. We shared it with Marvel, and so you've actually already seen these troopers in the background on a cover issue in the Marvel comic series. So we've seen them on the page. We're going to see them in HD in this game, but also I think it'd be kind of cool to see them in person, maybe.
Well,
Would
sure.
people want to see them, like see Purge Troopers?
Now?
I think now.
You want to meet some Purge
You want to
Troopers?
meet some Purge Troopers? That's kind of cool.
Run, bring them out.
Yeah.
Run
I don't
them
know
out.
if
Careful,
Cam
No.
O Boże, to zawsze tak jest. No,
Oh yeah,
no
get a
już.
selfie. Do it.
Selfie is not a bad idea.
To zawsze trudne jest na tych pokazach.
Careful.
All right. Get the crowd in the background. We good? All right.
Say cheese!
That is a very patient Purge Trooper.
That is a very patient Purge Trooper.
O, też bym chciał mieć takiego selfiaka.
That's great. I mean, first of all, I always loved it that, I loved the idea of the Jedi Purge in general in Star Wars. And then I loved what Rebels added to that with the Inquisitors. And it makes so much sense, that
No, nie było tak źle. Gorsze rzeczy widziałem.
about Jedi all over the galaxy, so the Purge Troopers come in. That's just such a great addition to story and gameplay, but it makes me wonder what kind of challenges these Purge Troopers are going to present to the player and to our Jedi hero Cal.
It's a good question. They're basically kind of born out of the Stormtrooper mechanically. The Stormtrooper was the first AI we got stood up in the game that we could fight against it. And one hit with a lightsaber, they go down. So they didn't provide much of a challenge unless we put them in situations where there's like dozens of them, which is okay. We might have scenarios like that in our game, but like I said, thoughtful combat, it's not a button masher. So we needed to find something that was more of a meaty one-on-one fight. So that's how we came up with these specially trained commando units with Lucasfilm. And yeah, it's kind of been said, but they come into battle as they're airdropped in as the first responders, and they soften up the Jedi before the Inquisitorius rolls in.
I love that. Oh, that's amazing. Now, I did have one last thing that I still wanted to ask about the trailer, it's been in some of the art that you released leading up to Celebration, which is about Cal's lightsaber.
How do you know that's Cal's lightsaber?
Oh. Well then, okay, all right. Well then, what can you tell us about? Yeah, you're right. It does look very storied. Looks like it's been through some things. What can you tell us?
W ogóle wygląda jak taki z dwoma ostrzami, tylko wypalony, albo może po prostu rękojeść jest wypalona.
You guys wouldn't want us to. It's so intimately tied to the story. It's just full of spoilers. What I will say is that over the course of the game, it will grow and evolve, and in many respects is kind of a reflection of Cal.
The lightsaber will change and evolve.
You heard what I said.
Shut down. That's great. Oh my God. I have I lied. I have one more question, which is this. I just want to know, and I'm sure everyone here wants
Będzie nam rosła szabla, znaczy ewoluowała.
right? When do we get to experience this story and play this game?
Się
When is
spociłem.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coming into our lives and our homes to play? Vince?
Let me think about it. November 15th, 2000.
Oh! This year, November 15th, 2019.
Xbox, PlayStation, PC, full simultaneous launch.
Xbox,
this year,
PlayStation.
This holiday.
This holiday. Xbox, PC, PlayStation 4, November 15th, 2019. Why is 2019 so amazing? That's so great.
No, to prawda,
Just
2019.
7 months away. Well, that's great. I've got so many, I took
Chociaż czy ja
so
wiem.
many notes because I had so many questions here. But I just want to ask you all if you have any final thoughts before we wrap.
No to wyjdzie na Origina, to wiecie, to może sobie wychodzić nawet na Epika ekskluzywnie, to i tak nie ma żadnego znaczenia. Wszystkie gry są na Originie od Electronic Arts, więc i tak chyba nikt by tego na Steamie nie kupował, nawet jakby było dostępne.
And it's like we were saying earlier, it is an absolute labor of love. Our teams, have come
A, to
together.
Borys troluje, nie słuchajcie Borysa, bo chce was kurde tutaj pod włos przyczesać.
They've shouted out the Respawn team, us too at Lucasfilm. A huge shout out to our games production team with Orion and Matt and Marco, Hez as well, who Kasumi mentioned earlier, and on our, my fellow story group members with James and Kelsey, Emily, Matt, Leland. It's just a whole ton of people who put their time and effort into this, and we cannot wait for people to continue to learn more and get their hands on it on November 15th. Thank you.
A teraz się okaże, że Cyberpunk też 15 listopada premiera. No i przechlapane.
Steve said, but what we talked about and looked at today is really only the fraction of our game. There's so much more. And myself, everybody on this panel, and everybody back at Respawn.
A jutro będziemy z Borysem o tym gadali o 18 w niedzielę o 18 na naszym podcaście, więc zapraszam bardzo serdecznie. Wpadajcie. Ja sobie to przeanalizuję na spokojnie, Borys zresztą też to ogląda.
Trying to hit that date for everybody, but it's days like this when we get to realize we're making a Star Wars, and it's like a really good feeling and a lifelong dream for me and a whole lot of people on the team. It's just been a total privilege working at Respawn in a culture of trust and ownership, and that starts with leaders like Vince and Stig, so that's been a fantastic experience for me. But also, games are made by teams, and everything you saw here today was made by the team back at Respawn. They're fantastic people, and we're trying to make something really special for all of you.
Yeah. That's great. Stig, any-
On nie zahacza mikrofonem o brodę, tylko o kołnierz.
Shout out to the team. Coming up last on this, but everybody's poured their heart and soul into it. And here we are, guys. I feel like I can hear Joe screaming from Los Angeles.
Running Ragnarok right now, so.
Nie sądzę, żeby to był RPG, raczej to będzie chyba taka fabularna gra,
My message directly
jak Uncharted, podejrzewam. I pewnie na 20 parę godzin, to nie będzie taki open world RPG na pewno. Przydałby się tak swoją drogą, ale...
This is a very special opportunity that we have, and
Ale wolę krótką, taką mięsistą historię niż jakieś rozwleczone open worldowe zabawy.
I love it. One of the things that sorry to just go off script here is
A na końcu informacja i pamiętajcie, tylko i wyłącznie VR.
Such an awesome team, and just kind of reiterates my feelings about you as a leader, Stig. Thank you for setting that culture. It's just amazing. Hi to everyone.
Ja myślę, że to będzie bardzo mocno przypominało Titanfall 2, jeżeli chodzi o jakość rozgrywki.
Thanks for making 2019 so awesome, and thanks to everyone at Lucasfilm too for making 2019 such a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Vince, Cameron, any final thoughts?
I think that we're all, this team, everyone involved, is a huge fan of Star Wars, and we wanted to make sure that we, honored and respected the story. You're just kind of scratching the surface with what you're seeing here. But ultimately, for me, Star Wars is about finding hope and connection and light within the darkness. And it is a somewhat dark story, and it takes place in a dark time. But that being said, there's a lot of joy and adventure, and it's really beautiful what these guys have done and created. I think that they're being a little bit humble, but they should be very proud of the work that they've done.
Na pewno premiera gry będzie bardzo blisko premiery filmu, bo to się dosyć mocno wspiera. Jestem ciekawy, czy będą jakieś wątki, które będą się przeplatać trochę między jednym i drugim. To jest inny okres, ale ciężko patrzeć na tego aktora i nie widzieć Jokera z Gothama.
Like you said, everyone on the team is such a huge fan of Star Wars, such a part of who we are. I'm honored to be able to represent, a part of that team today. And yeah, there's a lot more to the game that's so good. That's a good idea.
Well, we might, but there's something first that we want to do. We might show the trailer again, but who likes giveaways?
No ja nie lubię, no co mi dadzą teraz? Come on.
Unbeknownst to you, before you all entered this arena, we randomly selected 2 seats. Before everyone came in, and 2 of you unknowingly
Jeszcze mi chcą
sat
sprzedać
in
Star
those
Warsy.
seats. And what you are going to get
52 000 osób ogląda na YouTubie. Ile ogląda na Twitchu? Chyba więcej, bo się wywalił.
They're here giving away 2 of these awesome prize packs. An Xbox One X, of course, amazing. Not to mention a 1-month membership to Xbox Live Gold, this cool Jedi Fallen Order backpack, water bottle. What a cool package. So right now, Steven and Michelle from Microsoft, where are
Te
they?
butelki z wodą w Stanach Zjednoczonych są dosyć popularne. Odsyłam do chyba w jednym vlogu, że o tym opowiadam. To już się nie będę powtarzał.
Xbox One X, right there. Congratulations.
O, mój syn, ale przypadek. O, losowo żeśmy zupełnie przypadkowo wybrali. Jak to się mogło przydarzyć? Dobrze, zalosujemy jeszcze.
One more. Where is it?
He's selected. He's behind you, David.
Oh, right there. Oh, there he is. It's already happened. There's the other winner right there. Xbox
O,
One
mój
X.
drugi syn, jak to się stało? O, jaki to zbieg okoliczności szczęśliwy. Udaję, że ich nie znam, żeby nie było siary, ale...
We're handed a ticket as you were watching the panel, yes? No? No? How are we doing this? Well, let me tell you right now, though, before we get to distribution, and it's not going to be handed out right here in the arena, each of you is going home with something really, really cool. Now, we saw some characters in the trailer, but you're also going to be able to get this really cool collector pin set here. But that's... But that's not all. That's not all. You're also going to get, everyone who attended, 1 month of Xbox Live.
No i szybko wpisujcie kod. Kto pierwszy? Kto pierwszy wpisze kod, ten dostaje Windowsa za darmo.
But wait, there's more. Everyone is going to get this limited edition poster of this magnificent art right here.
O, to fajnie. Kurde, plakacik. Limited edition.
Fantastic, fantastic. So that's really, really great. I think I'll find out how we're doing this during the break, but while I'm finding out how you're going to get this, because there are distribution centers that are not here in the arena, we're going to give you instructions in just a moment on how to pick it all up. But right now, you want to see that trailer one more time?
Tak jest, dawać trailer. Dawać trailer.
Let's roll it. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Fajnie się zaczyna historia. Teraz już będę trochę gadał, bo gdzieś chłopak gdzieś pracuje przy jakimś sprzątaniu, w jakichś takich warunkach kiepskich. I będzie wychodził z tego świata pewnie. Zagubiony, ukryty trochę. Trzyma się z daleka od ludzi. Lubię takie historie. Tak jest. Od zera do bohatera. Najlepsze historie ever. Najprostsze i najlepsze. Nie, to nie były roboty, to byli przedstawiciele innych ras, co nie oddychają na przykład powietrzem tak dobrze jak ty. W stoczni pracuje. Czy oni chyba rozbierają statki? Znaczy jakaś rozbiórka. Tak. On na pewno uratuje tego obcego. I ten obcy będzie na niego zły. Inkwizytorka. Bieganie po ścianie, no z Titanfalla wyjęte przecież motywy. Na bank to będzie ten motyw. Ale to dobrze, bo tam można opowiadać fajne historie.
Trust no one. Trust only in the Force.
No, Respawn robi na Source, więc to akurat żadna niespodzianka. Ale oni mają tak ten silnik opanowany, że no, Titanfall 2, no, jak żeście grali, to wiecie. Raczej bym nie nastawiałbym się na gameplay, nie tutaj. Na Play EA, czy EA Play, jak oni się tam nazywają.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, November 15, 2019.
To jest Unreal Engine? Poważnie? To niespodzianka spora dla mnie. W tym roku nie ma być EA Play? EA na pewno coś robi w tym roku, na bank coś robi. Okej, Unreal, no to mój błąd. To ciekawe w ogóle, że jeżeli jest na Unrealu, no to jest duża szansa, że będzie ekskluzywem na Epiku. Nie oszukujmy się. Jeszcze raz dziękuję za to info odnośnie pogłośnienia tego